What's really in your food? This is a topic we've investigated on the show for many years now, exposing ingredients like antifreeze, chemicals in some of your favorite foods, potential carcinogens in others, and much, much more. But now, for the first time, the American Academy of Pediatrics is calling for urgent reform from the FDA, also warning parents that food additives may harm their children. This is a wake-up call for everyone. And right now, we're lucky to be joined by the Vice President of the AAP's Orange County chapter, pediatrician Dr. Katherine Williamson. I'm so happy that the AAP is now coming out and saying that we need to pay attention to this. Why now? So
there's been growing evidence that chemicals that are in our foods, either directly through additives like colored food dye or preservatives, or either leaking there from packaging, can be really harmful to kids and adults. And what we found is that there's about 10,000 chemicals that are in these food additives, and many of them can be potentially harmful, and we don't even know. In fact, there was a study recently that looked at half of these, and the majority of them never had any research done to see if they're even safe for human consumption. We've been very frustrated at times with the FDA and their admitted inability to oversee all of this. But why do you think it's taken so long for physicians groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics to raise this red flag? Pediatricians have been saying this for a long time, to be mindful of chemicals, but we haven't had the data to support any of that we can show that it is harmful. And going back to the 1950s, there's regulations that have been put in place, and there are actually chemicals that have been grandfathered in that we're not even allowed to test. So there's a lot of limited data. There's limit on the research that can be done, and despite that, there's still been some research that's come out that's shown that it is harmful. So now that we have this data, we can go forth and say, this is what we've been saying the whole time. Let's get these chemicals out of packaging. There's concrete evidence. Ironically, we probably have healthier packaged foods available now than ever before, still the unhealthy ones. So the question is, what should we be looking out for? Let's go through a few of the things, starting with nitrates, for instance, that people need to be looking out for. Absolutely. So nitrates are something that it's used as a preservative, and it's found in a lot of processed meats as well as some other foods. And what we found, nitrates among many of the other chemicals, they actually can be harmful to the endocrine system. And so for that, it can increase the risk of obesity, diabetes, even reproductive functions. And not only is this harmful for adults, but as a pediatrician, speaking about kids are at a much more vulnerable state for these harmful effects, really for two reasons. One, pound for pound, kids ingest more of these chemicals than adults do, and they're developing, right? Their brains are developing, their organs are developing, so they're very fragile to these toxic effects of these chemicals. We often think of chemicals and their association with cancer, but in this case, a lot of these chemicals that you all in particular as the American Academy of Pediatrics are worried about, these are hormone disruptors. So let's go down the list of some of the others, because phthalates is another one that you're saying that these phthalates that can be found in plastic packaging, we know this can have an impact on kids. Yeah, absolutely. So phthalates is a similar thing. So all of the chemicals that can be found in packaging and can leak into foods can cause endocrine problems. Phthalates also can be carcinogenic, as well as nitrates. Nitrates also can. PFCs is one that a recent study came out, and it showed that it can actually decrease the strength of your immune system. And those are used in other packaging as well? So yeah, so plastics tends to be the biggest one, but also aluminum cans. And plastics, there's many different chemicals that are in plastics. So there's some that make them more bendable, right? So PFCs do that. They make it more stretchy. So if you have a plastic water bottle, for example, right, you can squeeze it, make it go, make noises. That ability for the plastic to be soft like that is the PFCs, and that's what can harm your immune system.